Welcome back to Avengers Autos. Alright Avengers, today we're talking about something that has the internet arguing, car fans guessing, and luxury SUV lovers a little bit confused. The upcoming Mercedes-Benz Baby G-Class, also known as the Little G. Now let me ask you something before we start. Imagine you love the legendary G-Wagon look, the boxy shape, the tough attitude, the I can climb a mountain if I want vibe. But you don't want a massive SUV that feels like driving a luxury fridge through city traffic. That's exactly where this new Baby G-Class is supposed to fit. But here's the real question. Is this actually going to be a smart move for Mercedes, or just a smaller G-Wagon trying too hard? Today we're going to break it down honestly. No hype, no fanboy talk. Just a practical review from a real user perspective. So let's start with the design, because honestly, that's the whole reason people are excited about this car. The 2027 Baby G-Class is expected to keep the classic G-Class DNA, and that's actually a good thing. Mercedes knows very well that the boxy shape is what makes the G-Class iconic. So instead of reinventing everything, they're shrinking the idea slightly. From what we know so far, the SUV will still have the squared-off body, flat sides, upright windshield, and those wide wheel arches that make the original G-Wagon look like it's always ready for an adventure, even if it's just parked outside a coffee shop. The front will likely have round LED headlights and a simplified grille design. Don't expect something extremely aggressive like the AMG models, though. This is more of a compact luxury SUV with off-road style. The rear design is also rumored to keep the signature spare wheel mounted on the tailgate, and honestly, if Mercedes removed that, people would probably start a protest online. One important difference though, proportions. This new Baby G will be smaller, lower, and a bit more city-friendly compared to the full-size G-Class. That means easier parking, maneuverability, and probably less intimidation when driving in crowded streets. Because let's be honest, the big G-Wagon sometimes feels like you're driving a luxury tank in a mall parking lot. Now, moving inside the car. If Mercedes plays this smart, and usually they do, the interior of the Baby G-Class will focus on premium materials, but with a slightly more modern and youthful approach. Think of it as luxury that's still practical. Expect the dual digital display setup similar to many new Mercedes models, with a large infotainment screen and a fully digital instrument cluster. The seats will likely be comfortable enough for long drives with good support. This is important because compact SUVs sometimes compromise on seat comfort, but Mercedes usually does a decent job here. The cabin will probably mix leather, soft-touch materials, and some rugged design elements to remind you that this is still a G-Class family member. Rear seat space might be interesting though. Because the car is smaller, legroom may not be as generous as the full G-Wagon. But for most people, daily commuting, small families, or weekend trips, it should still work fine. The trunk space will likely be practical, not massive, but usable for groceries, luggage, and road trips. Now let's talk about what's under the hood, because this is where things get interesting. The 2027 Baby G-Class is expected to come with modern powertrains, possibly including hybrid and fully electric versions. And honestly, this makes sense. The car industry is moving toward electrification, and Mercedes definitely wants this SUV to appeal to younger buyers and urban drivers. The hybrid version will probably combine a small turbocharged engine with an electric motor to improve efficiency and performance. That means decent acceleration without terrible fuel consumption. And let's be honest, most people buying this car are not planning to climb mountains every weekend. Then there's the electric version, which could actually be a big deal. If Mercedes manages to give it strong range and good off-road capability, this could become one of the coolest compact electric SUVs on the market. Quiet, quick acceleration, and still looking tough. But here's my honest opinion. Mercedes needs to make sure performance still feels like a G-Class. Even if it's smaller, people expect some strength from this car. If it feels too soft or too slow, fans might get disappointed. Now imagine actually driving this car in real life. City roads, highways, daily use. In the city, the Baby G-Class might actually be better than the big G-Wagon. Smaller size means easier turns, better visibility, and less stress when parking. Fuel efficiency or electric range will also make it more practical for daily commuting. On the highway, the car should feel stable and comfortable. Mercedes usually tunes their SUVs for smooth driving rather than aggressive sportiness, and that's fine. Most buyers of this vehicle will want comfort, confidence, and a premium feel rather than racing performance. But I'm curious about one thing. Will it still feel tough enough off-road? Because the real G-Class has a reputation for being extremely capable. If the Baby G loses too much of that capability, some buyers might see it as just another luxury SUV with a cool design. Now let's talk about features and technology, because modern buyers care a lot about this. The 2027 Baby G-Class will likely include the latest Mercedes infotainment system, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, voice assistant, over-the-air updates, and advanced navigation features. Expect a premium sound system as well, probably from Burmester if Mercedes keeps their usual partnerships. You'll probably get ambient lighting, customizable driving modes, digital controls, and a clean dashboard layout. And yes, there's a good chance Mercedes will add some off-road specific displays to show terrain information, angles, and traction settings, because that looks cool and people love it. Now, safety. This is one area where Mercedes usually does well. Expect a full suite of advanced driver assistance systems, adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, automatic emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, and maybe even semi-autonomous highway driving features. If this car targets global markets, including the US, safety standards need to be strong. So overall, this should be a safe and confidence-inspiring SUV for everyday drivers. Now let's talk about mileage and practicality, because this matters more than marketing. If you choose the hybrid version, fuel efficiency should be significantly better than the full G-Class. And honestly, that alone could attract a lot of buyers who love the G-Wagon style but hate the fuel bills. The electric version will depend on battery size and range. If Mercedes manages around 500 to 700 kilometers of range, then this car could become extremely practical for daily driving. But practicality also depends on price, and this is where things could go either very right or very wrong. If Mercedes prices the Baby G-Class reasonably compared to the full G-Wagon, it could become very popular. But if they make it too expensive just because of the G-Class name, some buyers might choose other luxury SUVs instead. Now let's be honest about pros and cons. The biggest advantage of the Baby G-Class is simple: iconic design in a more practical size. People who always wanted a G-Wagon but couldn't justify the size or price might finally have an option. Another positive is modern technology and possible electric powertrain options, which make the car future-ready. And of course, brand value. Driving a Mercedes G-Class, even a smaller one, still carries a certain presence. But there are potential downsides too. First, purists might say it's not a real G-Class because it's smaller and possibly less rugged. Second, price could become a problem if Mercedes pushes it too high. Third, competition in this segment is getting stronger every year. Many brands now offer stylish, capable SUVs that might offer more value. So who is this car actually best for? Honestly, the Baby G-Class will probably appeal to urban luxury buyers, younger Mercedes fans, and people who want the G-Class style without the full-size SUV experience. It could also become popular among buyers switching from compact luxury crossovers who want something more unique. But if someone is a hardcore off-roader who loves the original G-Wagon's extreme capability, they might still prefer the bigger model. So here's the final verdict. The 2027 Baby G-Class has the potential to be one of the most interesting SUVs Mercedes launches in years. If they balance design, performance, technology, and pricing correctly, this could become a very successful model. But if they rely only on the G-Class name without delivering real value, buyers will notice. Now I want to hear from you, Avengers. Would you actually buy the Baby G-Class if it launches in your market? Or do you think Mercedes should have just improved the original G-Wagon instead of making a smaller one? Drop your opinion in the comments. I read them. And if you enjoy honest car reviews without fake hype, make sure you subscribe to Avengers Autos, because we've got a lot more upcoming car breakdowns, future models, and real-world automotive discussions coming your way. All right, Avengers, I'll see you in the next one.